now we have to talk about the sourcing part, right? So now let's talk about the sourcing part first. So what is basically sourcing part? That's something we have to understand this. So to understand the sourcing part, so basically sourcing module, Ariba sourcing module is providing a digital platform to customer to negotiate with the supplier. So whatever different kind of negotiation that a customer they want to do, or even if you see in your backend SAP system, like in SAP or in S4, we have this request for quotation option, right? But whatever options are available as request for quotation, those options are not meeting the customer requirement. We have lots of challenges here, right? So whatever challenges we have, so we have to basically include only one supplier per RFQ. And if you are going to invite around 10 supplier for any of this request for quotation, so we have to basically create the 10 document as well, right? That's something very tricky. And apart from that, that quotation activity is basically your offline activity. That means you can send a quotation request to your customer supplier, and the supplier will submit the quotation response by tomorrow itself. Correct. So that's something we have lots of limitations here. That's something you already aware. I don't want to go more inside about the RFQ process, but SAP Ariba is offering digital platform where customer can perform their different procurement, different negotiation activity, whatever they want to do. So sometime if you want to perform that offline quotation activity, that's something also you can do. Or sometimes if you want to perform some online quotation activity, that means competitive negotiation, that's something also we can do with the help of the Ariba sourcing module. So to understand this Ariba sourcing module, we have to first understand the types of the negotiation. So whatever different kind of negotiation that basically a customer they are doing. So to understand this, let's take our example. We are also the customer, right? And whatever our organization, they are following the process, same process we are also following from our side as well, right? So whatever different quotation activities or negotiation activities that we are doing in our day-to-day activity, that's something we have to understand first. So let's take one example. So sometimes we are doing the only information negotiation. So what is basically information negotiation? Now let's assume, let's take a simple example. We are using our laptop machine, right? And now let's assume you are facing some challenges in the laptop machine. So might be your Wi-Fi is not connecting or internet is not connecting. That's something issues you are facing. And we are basically the customer and we are not much technical. So based on our information or our capabilities, we try to find out some that troubleshoot in our laptop. But still we see that we can observe still we have the issue. So now let's assume some of the supplier, they are offering the laptop services near to us. So what we did basically, we have reached it to the supplier location, and we have explained that information issues to supplier, explain the issue to supplier, and based on that, supplier verified that issue. He cross-checked, he investigated the problem, and now he is saying some of the component is not working on the laptop. So might be there is one chip, and the chip is not working, and even that chip is also not available with him as well, right? So he is asking to you, you have to purchase that particular chip from outside of the vendor. That means you have to go to other vendor and you have to purchase that particular chip. So now you have to purchase the chip and you do not have any information about the chip. You don't know what is the name of the chip, what is the functionality of this chip. So you do not have any information there. So in this case, when you will reach out to other supplier to purchase that chip, so what you will do? Will you ask what is the price of the chip? No. We'll ask, but not immediately. So what basically we'll do? We first try to collect the information about the chip. Like, okay, this is the item. So you will first explain the issues, what issues basically you are facing, and then you will tell him like I have just took the help of the local service person, and he has investigated. Now he is saying this item is not working, this component is not working. So we'll try to ask him like, what do you think? Is it this is because of this? What do you think? Any idea? So that's something information we'll try to collect with him, right? And once you will collect this information, then only you may ask about the price. Okay, now tell me what is the price, right? And still, if you are not satisfied with the supplier responses, so might be you will try to go to different supplier as well, and first you will try to negotiate the information. You will try to collect the information. So this is a kind of like one negotiation we are doing, that is called as an information negotiation. So where pricing part will come later. First we have our priority is that to collect the information. Now second is that price negotiation. So what is basically price negotiation? Now let's say we can take this very simple example of this Ariba training as well, right? Now let's assume you want to take the Ariba training. I'm giving very silly example, just layman example, and you have all the information like I want to learn upstream, I want to learn downstream, I want to learn this configuration part. This is my requirement. Now whenever you will try to investigate this in like that in different in market, so you will immediately ask like, okay, tell me like, are you covering this topic? He will say yes. So what is the price of this like your course? He will say something XYZ or whatever, $100 amount. Okay, no problem. If I will need something, I will get back to you. So in this case, like whenever you will have like the information already available with you. So in this case, your focus will not be on this like information. Your focus will be on the price itself, right? So that is basically called as a price negotiation. Now, the other negotiation what we are doing sometimes competitive negotiation. Now, what is the competitive negotiation? Let me give a very simple example to understand the competitive negotiation. I will give again very layman example, please don't mind, but it will be very easy for you like you can understand easily. Now let's assume you need to take one training. Like let's say you have to take the Ariba training as well, right? And now you have investigated, you have and like you have received all the quotations from the different institute, different agencies, and you have also this course curriculum as well, like whatever topic they are going to cover. Now you what basically you did, so you have like that you verified, you just compare the different quotation and different course curriculum as well, and you find out like all the agencies, all the training institute, they are basically offering you same course curriculum, right? But they have the different price itself, and still you are not satisfied with the price and you want to negotiate the price. So in that case, what you will do, you will again try to make one more time negotiation, but this time when you will talk to the institute, so this time you will tell him, okay, what is the cost? What will be the last price of your like training? He will tell you, for example, $100. Then he will tell you why you are charging too much or why you are charging high. I just investigated from other institute and they are charging something. Let's say we can say $80. So why you are charging $20 extra? Right. So you will like pass this information to that particular institute. So why you are passing this information? Did he ask you or did they ask you like tell me whatever the price you're getting from different institute? No. But why you have communicated this information to that institute? Because you have the hope when I will share the other price, other supplier price to the supplier, so this supplier will have some competition, and when the supplier will have some competition, then he will reduce the price. So in that case, you may get this option like a deduction as well or some discount as well. So they may say you, okay, no problem. So how you want to pay only 80? No problem. You can pay 80. You can continue. So like that, like you can get some discount here. So how basically you get this discount? Because of this competition only. You have created the competition, right? So we can take very simple example, IPL bidding. IPL bidding is very simple example of this competitive negotiation. I hope most of you is aware about the IPL bidding, right? So how basically IPL bidding is happening? So in a single big hall, all the players, all that we can say sellers and all the buyers, they are sitting together, and everyone whatever bid amount they want to give, they are giving in front of the all the buyers. So the all the buyers they get to know, oh, that company one, he there is this price. Okay, no problem. What we will do, we'll increase our price and we'll give this much price. Right. So why it is happening? Because just to create the competition. So we are also doing sometimes as the competitive negotiation. So like that, we are performing the different type of the negotiation from the customer point of view. Okay. Now coming to the Ariba sourcing module. So Ariba sourcing module is providing the two different kind of project. So if you want to create any kind of like negotiation activity in the Ariba, so we have to basically create the two different kind of project. One is called as a full project, and second is called as a quick project itself. Okay. So what is full project and what is the quick project? So before going to talk about full project and quick project, let's talk about some types of the event which are available in the Ariba sourcing module. So Ariba sourcing module is providing four different kind of like the event. One is RFI, and RFI is stands for this request for the information. Second is RFP, and RFP stands for this request for the proposal. Third one is a reverse auction, and what is reverse auction? Reverse auction is a competitive negotiation. And the fourth one is the forward auction, and what is the forward auction? That is also like that a kind of competitive negotiation itself. So what is basically RFI? Whenever we have, your focus is only for the information negotiation, go ahead with the RFI. Whenever your focus is only on this like information negotiation, like for example you have something new technologies, new tools, and that's something you are not aware about that part and you want to collect some information, in that case you can go ahead with the information negotiation. And whenever you have only the focus on the price part, right, so in that case you can go with the price negotiation, that means your RFP event, request for proposal. And whenever you want to create any kind of competitive negotiation, competitive event, in that case, we have to go with the reverse auction or we have to go with the forward auction. But a reverse auction is only applicable for the buyer and a forward auction is only applicable for the supplier. Why? Why? Why means because if you see the buyer nature, we are the buyer. And if let's say you are going to purchase one product and that product price is at $100, right? Now, so let's say the MRP is given as the $100 and supplier is saying like, sir, the price of this item is $100. Do one thing, pay me $110. Will you pay? Never. Why? Because this is not the buyer nature. Buyer is always going to a reverse way. But instead of that, if supplier will tell you, okay, the MRP of this item is $100, but you can pay $90, I am going to give you 10% discount. Will you pay? Definitely you will pay. Why? You are getting the discount of the 10%. So that means why you are paying 90, or even if he will ask you how much you want to pay, might be you may say I want to pay only 80 or $85. Why? Because this is the nature of the buyer. Buyer is always trying to go in the reverse direction. So whenever any supplier will tell you 100, buyer will tell 95. If supplier will tell 95, buyer will tell like buyer will say as the 90 or 85, something like that. So that is why this reverse auction is only applicable for the buyer. But whereas this forward auction is applicable to the supplier. So what is the forward auction? So this is basically supplier nature. What is the supplier nature? Supplier is always trying to gain more benefit, more margin. For example, there is a one product and that MRP of the product is $100. Yeah, but if the supplier, he will calculate the total cost of that product, he find out total cost of the product is only $60, right? So that means even though MRP is 100, but total cost is only like $60. So if he will sell that product in $65 or in $70, so still he is getting benefit $5 or $10 amount. But what will be the supplier hope? Supplier hope will be I should sell in the $100 itself. Why? Because he want to always get more margin. That means he want to earn, he want to go basically in the forward direction, direction itself. That is why this forward auction is applicable for the supplier itself. So now coming to the full project and the key project. So whenever we have to create any kind of specific event, that means if you want to create RFI, if you want to create only RFP, or if you want to create reverse auction, forward auction will not be in our scope. This is because this is from supplier side and we are basically from the buyer side. So if you want to create any of this specific event in the Ariba sourcing module, sourcing solutions, that is called as a quick project. And if you want to create all the different kind of event in a single project, that means I want to create RFI, then I want to go with the RFP, then I want to go with this reverse auction, and I want to do all this activity in a single project. That is called as a full project. So quick project means a type of the sourcing event. Full project means is a container where we can perform all the different kind of sourcing event in a single project. So this is something just overview about the sourcing project, sourcing modules. And if you come to Ariba sourcing system here, so I'm in Ariba system. So from here we have to go in this Ariba create menu. So once you come here and we have to click on the create, and from here we have to choose this option of the sourcing project. So once we click on the sourcing project here, then system will give you the option to create the sourcing project. So basically system will deliver you one sourcing project form, and in that form we have to provide our requirement, like what exactly we are going to create. So here in this form, first we have to provide this name. So we'll talk about the other field as well, but before that, let's talk about this project. So this is something very important, and we have to understand this part. Now here we can see the system has given this option, like system is asking which type of project you want to create. So do you want to create full project, or you want to create a quick project? So whatever different kind of project you want to create, that basically we have to select here, and by default we can see system has selected this quick project here, right? So whenever we are selecting this quick project, so if you see just below, so we can see we have the event type field, and this event type field is basically the mandatory field. How we can identify which fields are mandatory, which fields are optional? So with the help of this identification, so we can see here we have one that mark here, and with the help of this mark we can identify which fields are mandatory, which fields are optional. So we can see this event type field basically is a mandatory. Why? Because of this identification, right? So that means here whenever you will select this quick project, so we have to specify whatever different kind of event you want to create. So we can only select any of the specific type of the event. So at a time you can either create RFI, or you can create RFP, or you can create auctions. Auction is nothing, that is the reverse auction, or you can create the forward auctions as well. So whatever event type that you want to create, that basically we have to select here. So for example, let's say I want to create the RFI. So what I will do, I will choose the RFI here. So that is basically a quick project. So yesterday we discussed what is a quick project. So quick project is nothing, that means a specific type of the event. So whatever that any specific type of event you are going to create, like it could be either RFI, RFP, reverse auction, or the forward auction. So that is basically called as the quick project, right? Now what I will do, let me choose here as the full project. So I'm going to select here as the full project, and once we select here as the full project, so we will see some changes here. So what happened? Okay, so we can see some changes here. So once we select here as the full project, and now we can see we can't see that event type field here, that is gone, right? So why basically the event type field is gone? Because full project is the container. Now whatever different kind of sourcing event you want to create, like for example you want to create RFI, you have to want to go with this RFP, or you want to go with this reverse auction or forward auction. So all the different kind of sourcing event that basically you can create in this full project itself. So this is the major differences between the full project and the quick project, right? Now we'll see both the project, like how basically we have to create full project, and we'll talk about that quick project as well, how basically we have to create the full project. So let's try to create one project, and we'll see how basically we have to create any type of the project. So what I will do basically, first we'll talk about the quick project, and we'll see how basically we have to create the quick project. So now we have to come and we have to start filling this form. So here we can see that first field is the name, and we have to provide the name of the project. So whatever name you want to give, you can give. It's up to you, based on your choice. Whatever that nomenclature you want to give, you can give. So like let's say I'm going to give here office supplies quick project, right? And same way I'll keep the name as well, similar in the description as well.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can you please again define what is sourcing project again? I'm sorry.
Okay. So what happened? Okay. Do you have you understood what is the sourcing module?
Sourcing model I understand.
Okay. So basically, can you please go on mute? We're getting lots of background noise from your side. Thank you. So now what happens, in the sourcing module, whenever we have to create, so basically, okay, let me give you brief from the initial here. So what happens if you see from customer point of view? So from the customer point of view, we have to basically create the different type of, we have to perform different kind of negotiation activity, right? So we can take the examples of ourselves as well, because we are also the customer. And whenever we are doing any purchasing activity in our day-to-day activity, day-to-day purchasing, so we are also following any different kind of negotiation activity, right? So sometimes we are doing information negotiation, sometimes we are doing only pricing negotiation, and sometimes we are doing the competitive negotiation as well. This part we discussed in yesterday's session in detail level. You can refer the recording for more details. So this is basically the different kind of that negotiation that we are performing here. Now, based on this, so Ariba sourcing module is providing the platform to, and we can say providing the solutions to the customer, where customer can perform the different kind of negotiation activity. So whatever different kind of negotiation activity that we would like to perform as a customer, we can do with the help of the Ariba sourcing module. So whenever we have to perform any kind of negotiation activity in the Ariba sourcing module, so for that, what we have to do, we have to create some project. So for the project perspective, Ariba is providing these two different kind of project. One is basically full project and second is a quick project, right? So now what is the full project and what is the quick project? So to understand this, first we have to understand about the types of the event. So in Ariba sourcing module, we have the different type of the Ariba, sourcing in, I'm sorry, in Ariba sourcing module, we have the basically different kind of sourcing event as well. So whatever different kind of sourcing events are available in the Ariba, so that basically we can see RFI, RFP, reverse auction, and the forward auction. Again, we discussed in detail level in yesterday's session as well, like what is RFI, what is RFP, what is reverse auction, and what is the forward auction. But at high level, we
Excuse me,
can
sir.
say,
Hello, sir. Sorry for the interruption, sir. Actually, I didn't attend yesterday class.
no problem, Deepak, you can refer the
It's my
recording.
first class. Yes, sir.
You can refer the recording, no problem.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So these are basically the different type of event are available here, right? So now basically whenever we have to create any kind of the project, so we have to either we have to create any specific type of the event, or we have to create all the different type of the event in a single project as well. So whenever we have to create any specific types of the event here, like let's say you want to go with the RFI, or you want to go with the RFP, or you want to go with this reverse auction or forward auction. So in that case, basically we have we have to create the quick project. So if you are going to create any specific type of the event, that is basically your quick project. But in case if you are going to create all the different kind of event in a single project, so that is basically called as a full project here, right? So same way, if you come here in the Ariba system, so in the Ariba system, whenever we have to create any of the project, so we have to basically go in the create menu, and from there we have to choose this option of the sourcing project. And once you choose this option of the sourcing project, then system will give you this screen. And here we have to basically select here as the full project or the quick project. So as of now, if you see here, we have selected the quick project option, right? And we can see we have the event type field is become the mandatory here, right? That means here system is asking, since you are going to create the full project, so can you please tell me which event type you want to create? And we have to select any of the event type. So you have to choose either RFI or RFP or reverse auction or the forward auction here, right? So without specifying any of this event type, system will not allow you to proceed further. Okay, so this is something, this scenario is only for the quick project. But if you choose here as a full project, so in case of the full project, the system will hide the event type field here. Now we cannot see the event type field. Why? Because full project means, as it name sounds, that full event. So full event means whatever different kind of event you want to create, you can create inside the full project. So you can go with the RFI, RFP, reverse auction. Again, if you want to create again RFP, reverse auction, you can create multiple times. That is basically full project and the quick project. Got it? Not it.
Yes, sir.
Any further question from anyone?
Sorry, question. So if let's
Mhm.
say if I go through full project, does it mean that I go through the full process, RFI, RFP, and auction? Can I,
Again,
if
it
let's say,
depends.
okay,
Again, it depends. If you want to create the full project, but you want to create only single event, you can create. It's up to you. System
oh,
will not
okay,
prompt you. You have to go with the full cycle like RFI, RFP, reverse auction. No. If you want to go with the full project only, full project, but you want to create only reverse auction, or you want to create only RFP, RFP, you can do.
or if I want to go for RFI, RFP, right? Instead of the full project, can I select by quick project, but RFI, RFP?
No, no, you can't. You can't select that multiple project event type at a time. You have to do in different projects. So in first project, quick project, we have to choose RFI. Then once you complete the RFI, then again you have to create the quick project. Then we have to choose as the RFP.
Oh, okay,
Got it?
okay, got it. Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Sir, 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 one thing I want to ask was, in full project, we can also create RFI, RFP, sourcing project, forward project. This thing,
Sourcing project is same things. Sourcing project is same thing. So sourcing project not the
okay,
right
sir.
term. We can create this different kind of event in this full sourcing.
Yes, sir. So these options are available in quick project, but not in the full project.
Because
This is
in
the
full
main
project
difference.
full project we can create any of the event based on your choice.
Okay,
It's a
sir.
function.
Sir, exactly. I'm not able to understand the basic difference between full
Uh,
project and quick project
just park your
because
question for some time, because you know the same thing we are going to discuss in the coming session as well. So in coming session we are going to see how to create full project. Now basically we are going to see about the quick project, or we can see the full project as of now itself. So we are going to discuss in detail level. So if you have some questions relevant to this, just park your question. In the coming session your question will automatically be answered. So not to worry.
so
Yeah, we'll talk about in detail level here.
so at the end of this session, we will ask this regarding this. You
No,
mean
no,
to
no,
say,
not
sir?
in the session, Deepak. We are going to create. I will show you how to create the full project, how to create a quick project. I'll show you. So when I
Okay,
will
okay,
show
sir.
you how we have to create the system itself, then you'll give like get the better clarity. Oh, like this we have to create. Now I understood.
Okay.
Right. So as of now,
Yes, sir.
I can give only overview part. That's it.
Yes, sir. Because sir, right now I'm not able to
Yeah,
get
just
not able to yes, sir, get that basic difference between both the projects,
I know, I do
quick
understand,
and full.
because today your first session. Just just continue some session. You will understand. Give
Yes,
me
sir.
some
Yes.
time.
Okay, sir.
Sir, in
Any further
MM,
question?
what MM will do, that sourcing is different. This sourcing, where we'll take material and vendor. Like
No, in
here,
MM basically we have this that non-competitive event, that is a request for quotation, right? So this is some same thing here as well. We have to do same thing, but we have here we have the digital platform.
okay, okay.
Okay. I do one thing. I think see basically we are at the initial level, so I'll humble request to everyone, please park your all the questions relevant to this sourcing, because just now we started in the system. I know you will have lots of questions, but in coming session your all the questions will automatically be answered, right? So just park this question, whatever topic we are discussing. So you have the questions relevant to that. That basically you can that ask me. All right. Okay. So now basically here we have to give the name and we have to enter the description here. Then we have to come to the copy from project. Now what is basically copy from project? So let's say this is the project we are going to create here now, and might be earlier or might be before some time last month or the last week or whatever, whenever in the past, if you have created the similar project, you have created a similar project that in this system, and you want to copy all the information from there. So might be earlier we have created one project for this office supplies, but that time due to some reason we have not completed our event, or might be we have not received our that desired that required price or something, whatever you can say. So I want to copy all the information from the previous project. So Ariba has given this option here, copy from project. So what we will do basically, we have to come here and we have to choose any of this that information here. So let's say for example, I'm going to choose here as a top call. So this is one project and I want to copy all the information. So what I will do, I will choose this one, and once you choose this option, then system automatically copy all the information here. I'll show you. Even you can do the practice from your side as well. Otherwise, I'll show you like how basically it is copying here. Now in the next, we have basically that like a project. We discussed about the project. We talked about the event type as well. Now in the next, we have the test project. So what is basically test project? This is something mainly applicable in the production system, right? So in the production system, sometimes we are creating some documents for our testing purpose, right? So for example, we are doing some configuration. So we have to basically act as the Ariba functional consultant, and we are doing some configuration in the production system. Now we want to perform some testing here. We are moving our changes to the production side, and we would like to perform some testing, or might be the business user, they want to create some document only for the testing purpose. So whenever they want to do any kind of testing in the production system, so Ariba has given this flexibility to customer. They can create some test document. So how basically we can create? So for that we have to select here as a test project. So here we can see we have the option of this as, or we have the option as a no. So if you choose this option as a S, that system will understand this document is only created for the testing purpose. And whenever you will select here as a S, like test project as a S, in that case, this document will not flow outside of the system. Why? Because this is something only the test project. But and in the real time, basically, and if you're going to create that real project, so in that case, we have to select here as a no. So even though now basically this activity we are doing in the test site, this is our demo site itself. So in this demo site, it will not give any impact if you choose here as a S or if you choose here as a no. This will give only impact in the production system itself. Okay. Now apart from that, if you come downside, so here we have some basic information, base language, origin, we'll talk about regions, department, they are basically basic field here. And even we have this something honor, currency, this information system automatically default like from the user profile. And we have this commodity code and the linked initiative, that is the custom field. So this is something basic
Hello,
field
sir.
if you want to.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, man.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's audible.
Hello. Sir, sorry, I stuck in a lift. Can you repeat me the test project?
Okay, give me some time, I'll tell you. Please go on mute, please.
Sorry, sir.
I'll tell you. Give me some time. I'll tell you at the end of the session. Okay. All right. So now here basically these are basically basic field, and that's something if you want to provide the information, you can provide the information. You can come here and you can choose any of the particular the commodity code, whatever you want to choose. So this is something just basic information that you can add here. So now here we can see we have one field here as the origin. So what is basically origin? So origin means here we can see we have the Ariba sourcing here, right? So origin is representing like where you have created this document. So since we have created this document in the Ariba system, Ariba sourcing module, that is why here it is showing as the Ariba sourcing here, right? Now, once you provide all this information here, I'll come back here again. So now once you provide all the information here, then we have to come here in downside, and here we have the external system integration. So this option is applicable like in case if your customer they have the backend SAP system. So for example, what happened? Let me open one paint document here just to show you. So as we discussed earlier, whatever the solutions that Ariba is offering, like upstream or downstream, or we can say that sourcing, contract, SLP, and P2P, those documents are basically those solutions are the individual solutions. And based on the customer requirement, whatever solutions the customer they want to implement, they can implement. So it is not mandatory that every time, or it is not mandatory to customer to they have to purchase the entire package. So whatever the package are available, it's not mandatory to implement entire package. If customer they want to go only with the supplier, they can go only with the supplier. If other customer they want to go only with the sourcing module, they can go only with the sourcing module. Or if any customer they want to go with only Ariba P2P, they can go with the Ariba P2P as well, right? So but thing is that so it is totally different, totally individual modules, and whatever modules they want to implement, they can implement. So might be in some cases you may see some of the customers they have only the Ariba sourcing modules itself. So they do not have this Ariba supplier, Ariba contract, Ariba P2P, and the Ariba catalog. They have only this Ariba sourcing module. So in that case, what will happen? So in that case, your system architecture will be looks like this. So here, if you come and here you will have one other box. Now here you will have Ariba sourcing, right? Now this Ariba sourcing module is available here that basically your customer has implemented. Now, why the customer has only implemented this Ariba sourcing module? So just to perform the different kind of negotiation activity, or we can say tendering activity here, right? So basically, apart from this Ariba sourcing module, customer they do not have any other modules. Like they do not have the P2P module or contract module or supplier module. They do not have the other modules. They have only Ariba sourcing module. And now let's say this customer they have the in backend they have basically SAP MM. Just for example, so this customer they have the that in backend they have the SAP MM. So as we know in SAP MM as well, we can perform all the different kind of sourcing and procurement activity as well. Now this is your customer system architecture. Like in backend you have the SAP MM, and here you are going to implement the Ariba sourcing module. So in this case, whatever the activity you will complete, like once you complete your sourcing project in the Ariba side, so what you will do with the outcome? Outcome in the sense when you will negotiate with the supplier. So whatever the best price that basically you will receive from the supplier. So what you will do with that, like in the price. So what you will do with with that information. So you may say, I will create the purchase order, or some other customer, they will say, I would like to create the contract with that information, right? So where basically you will create. So you will create this information in the backend SAP system. So in that case, what basically you are expecting. So your customer expectation is that you want to send this information to from sourcing to the backend SAP system, and in backend SAP system, either you will create PO, that means purchase order, or contract, right? So this is applicable in that case. Even not only in that case as well. So in some cases, your customer, they will have the Ariba sourcing and Ariba contract module as well, right? So that means since you have the Ariba contract module, so after as the outcome of after this sourcing project activity, what you will do basically, you will create the contract in the Ariba, right? And that contract information you would like to pass to backend SAP system, because you do not have the Ariba P2P module license, so you will not be able to perform the purchasing activity here, right? So in that case as well, you will expect to send this information like your contract information or sourcing information to the backend SAP system as well. How it will go to backend SAP system, that something is a part of the integration, and we'll discuss in detail level during the integration, right? But here you will expect to create either purchase order or the contract. So same thing system is asking here as well, like here in the external system integration. So here basically we have to choose our backend SAP system. So whatever backend SAP system that you have in your SAP MM or like SAP S4HANA, that basically we have to choose. And once you choose, so here we have to specify in the document type, like which document you want to create in the backend SAP system. So here we have to select as the purchase order or the contract. So if you want to create as a purchase order here, we have to select here as a purchase order, or if you want to create the contract, you can select here as the contract. So it's up to you, whatever the particular document that you want to create in the in that integrated environment. So whatever document you will select here in the document type. So accordingly, we have to also choose document category as well. So let's say I've selected here as a document type, and then we have to select here as a document category. So for contract, we have to choose either WK or MK. So whatever option you want to choose here, like WK or MK, that basically you can select here, right? So let's say for example, I'm going to select here as a MK. So even this side is not integrated with the backend SAP system, I'll not be able to show you in the backend SAP system, but just I'm giving you overview, like what is the purpose of this external system integration, so that whenever actually you will work in the that any project. So in some cases, because sometimes during support project or even during the implementation project, we have to perform some testing, or business will report some issue to you, like we have completed our sourcing event in the Ariba, but still in the backend SAP system, purchase order or the contract is not created. So in that case, if you will have the idea, like what is basically the setup we need to do for that, so you can quickly come here and you can verify this information, either user has selected this information or not, right? Now, apart from this, like once you complete the external system integration, then we have to come, okay, then we have to come here in the downside, and here basically we have to choose a template. So as of now, we can see system is not showing any template here, right? And why system is not showing any template here? Because we have not selected any of the event type here. So system will deliver the list of template based on this, event type. So whatever event type you will choose here, so irrespective of that, system will show you the list of template here. What is the template and how to configure, that's something also the part of configuration. But as a high level, we have to understand, so whatever things you want to default at the transaction level, so those things we have to configure at the template level, and that information will default at that transaction level as well. I'll show you, we'll see in some time. So we have to basically select any of the event type here. So whatever event type you want to create, we can choose the event type here. Now let's say I'm going to choose here as the RFP event type. So since we have selected here as the RFP event type, now if you come downside, you will able to see the other event type here. So like here we can see, different template we can see here. Now whatever template, so again this is something demo side, so we can see we have the multiple templates here, but generally in the production environment you will not have this much template. You will have very limited template, might be 2 or 3 max to max, or might be 4 to 5, like that. Or in some cases you may have only one template as well. It depends on the customer requirement. So whatever template is applicable in your case, that means whatever template that basically you configured, so that particular template we have to select here. So it's up to you whatever template you want to choose. Like for example, I'm going to choose this template here. So we have to basically choose this template here. Then we have to click on the create, and once you click on the create, then system will create this sourcing event, and later we have to provide some other information. We'll talk about that part, but let's come on this some questions part. So earlier, someone asked me about the test project. What is basically test project? So test project basically it is identifying only for the testing information. So you are going to create this document, and you are doing some testing. So might be, let's say you join newly in your company, or you are going to create one sourcing project, and you are not sure like how basically I have to create, and whatever information I have to provide. Do I need to collect some information from the other team member as well? So for testing purpose, you just came here and you are trying to see this information, and you want to create this document as well. So I'm creating this document for testing purpose, but system don't know, right? So as a standard, what system will do? System will send this document to the supplier as well. Might be once you click on the create, and you will have the other option to publish it. And once you publish, this document will go to that other outside of the system as well. So in that case, you will have the trouble. So for that, we have to tell to system, like don't send the document to outside of the system. Why? Because I'm creating this document as a test project. That means for testing purpose. That is the purpose of this test project checkbox here. Otherwise, if you are going to create as a real document, in that case, we have to choose here as a. Okay. I hope you got your questions now. Okay. Now next question we have: do we need to select the all the creation set at the creation stage? This temp. Okay, you mean to say template?
No, actually, I was referring to that the external system integration.
Okay, yes. During creation as well. So we have the two options here. You can choose during creation or even during awarding process as well. The option will come, and there as well we have to choose like what document you want to create. So both the places you will have the option, but in this demo site you will not have that option that pop up during awarding. So here basically we have to specify during the creation process itself. Okay.
Okay.
Did I answer?
So, sir, I want to ask from the external system integration. So the option which you have selected in external system, is that, sir, SAP MM? You said we
Yes,
have
that
to
is the
assume
right.
we have to assume that we are sir, assume the we are creating negotiation
Okay, I
from
got your
SAP
question.
MM.
I got your question. So now let's say what basically we are doing with this sourcing event, we are going to negotiate with the supplier. For example, let's say you have to purchase a laptop, right? And before purchasing the laptop, what you are doing, you are basically negotiating with them different supplier. Like I want to purchase this brand laptop. Can you tell me what is the price of this laptop? Right now, let's say you have discussed with the 10 supplier, and all the 10 suppliers they have submitted the quotation to you, and now you find out like one supplier they have given the lowest price to you. So once you receive that better quotation, so in the next what you will do as a buyer, you will make the purchase, right? You will purchase the laptop from that supplier. That we are doing correct. So same way from customer point of view as well. So as that once you complete the sourcing event, so what you will do basically, so for that we have to do we have to create either contract or we have to create the purchase order. But where we have to create the contract or purchase order, that's something you can create in the backend SAP system, that means in the SAP MM. So here we can see we have this
Sir,
option external system integration. That means this option, this document is going to create in the backend SAP system. Yes. Did I answer your question? Deepak?
I got it. Main thing, sir, we have to, yes, sir, we have to negotiate for that purpose. We are creating that particular backend process like
Right.
SAP, MM,
Right.
contract, purchase order. Okay, sir.
Right. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Sir, the backend is must and should not, sir, because hello,
Backend is?
means the integration should be must. It is S4HANA or ECC. We should have a mandatory. Only Ariba we cannot do. No. Means external.
No, we can do. It's not mandatory. We can do. If you do not have any backend SAP system, you want to use Ariba as a standalone, you can use.
Yeah. Okay.
But in most of the cases, out of 100, you will see 90% of the customers, they are using SAP Ariba on top of their backend SAP system like SAP MM or SAP S4HANA.
That's a conclusion. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any further question?
Sorry, just one question, because right now I understand although it's a test environment, but I mean, right now actually we still have not get the quotation yet, right? I mean, do we have to put the payment term at this stage? Shouldn't it be during after that the supplier update that all these payment terms later?
It's not mandatory, but basically we can select any of the payment terms here because payment terms we have to define earlier as well. So it's not mandatory, but yeah, if you want to specify, we can specify. So Ariba is not giving this information as mandatory. This is optional. If you have the information, you can select here because payment terms generally we are following as the customer. So what is the payment term? So you are going to pay in the installment, or you will make the payment in one time, right? That's something we have to decide from customer point of view. So if you have the information, you can specify. Otherwise, you can skip it.
But usually usually payment terms is like follow the vendor. So if let's say like 60 days, 30 days or like upfront have to pay. But is this because actually right now is a test environment?
No, yes, this information is coming by default here. We are not specifying here, but again, during creating this document, if you want to specify, we can specify. Otherwise, we can skip as well. Or in some cases, if you do not have any information as well, we can specify some dummy payment term as well, just to create the document.
Okay, but can we populate based on that the supplier quotation later?
That option will not come here. That we later we have to modify it. If you have some changes, you can do change.
Okay.
Sir, one more. I have a question, sir.
Mhm.
So, for the external system integration with SAP, ECC, or HANA, these are the only things which gets linked with SAP, or any additional information will be linked.
No, this is nothing. This is just a kind of vanilla. This is nothing. This is something only from the individual point of view. So,
Okay.
in other basically activity we have to do. That is very important. The setup we have to do. We have to perform the complete setup.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So,
if you select here only, it will not work. Setup is not there.
okay.
So we are
Okay.
talking from the user perspective, not from the consultant perspective right
Okay. Okay. So, one more question. Like in Ariba, it is only PO and contracts, no other whatever there in MM will be there in Ariba system, or it's only PO and contracts.
now. Okay, so against this quotation, what you want to create? Generally, what we can create as a customer.
Pardon?
No, against this quotation, whatever quotation you will receive from the supplier. So what you want to create? So generally, what we are creating against any quotation, whatever we are getting. So what we can create?
Purchase order, right?
Yes, purchase order or contract. Yes, but apart from this, sometimes some of the customers they are creating the purchasing info record as well. Okay, so but for that, if you want to create the purchasing info record against this sourcing outcome, so for in that case, you will have the option here as the purchasing info record. But that something will not be available as the standard, and that's something like if you want to create, then we have to enable that the purchasing info record option here.
Okay, okay. So we have the purchase info record also. Okay.
Hmm.
And we will be having non-PO process in Ariba. It will be there
We have
option.
yes,
Okay,
non-PO option available.
okay.
Okay. Any further question, Ahmad?
Sorry, just one question again. So
Mhm.
if let's say it's the RFQ right coming from the SAP flow
Mhm.
into the Ariba, then the origin will it be showing? Then what is that the origin showing?
Okay,
If
so in
let's
that
say,
case, in that case, you will have the origin as the external, or
okay,
might be you will have the ECC.
I see. Okay, can. Thanks.